peanut butter and jelly, ketchup and mustard, country music, and beer. As long as people have been singing cowboy tunes, they've been singing about that wonderful, tantalizing liquid gold. And it's hard to think of a beer as American as Budweiser. But some very big names in country music have declared an all-out war against Bud, as a recent partnership has resulted in many longtime Budweiser fans turning on the long-standing beer brand. So what happened to provoke some longtime pot stirrers like Kid Rock and Ted Nugent to lock and load against this alcohol titan? And is what the media has reported really true? From longtime stars of the genre to fiery newcomers, we will find out who in country music has spouted off against Anheuser-Busch. As lines are drawn in the sand, legends pick sides, and bridges are burned. This video will explore what really happens when you piss off country musicians, and also how much their canceling of Bud Light & Co. has affected the bottom line for the corporate giant. Before we crack it open, make sure to give this video a thumbs up to show support, and subscribe to the channel for more country content like this. Now take a seat and grab a cold one. I won't ask you the brand as we go find out. What happened? The incident. Most country music fans had never even heard of Dylan Mulvaney. That is, until a single video changed that forever. Dylan Mulvaney is a former actor, a social media star, and a transgender activist whose gender transition has been well documented on Instagram and TikTok. Mulvaney has more than 10 million followers on TikTok and nearly 2 million on Instagram. So it was a wide range of waves from this. And this is where many conservative country music stars have found a huge issue. When Dylan landed a sponsorship from Bud Light and posted this video, in which the TikToker shows off their own custom beer, Mulvaney sipped a can of Bud Light sent to her from the company as she discussed March Madness, saying that the company sent her these custom-made tall boys to commemorate the anniversary of her transition. It was a sign that the brand was trying to step out of its comfort zone and reach a younger, more liberal audience. While the brand thought this was a savvy, forward-thinking business move, the backlash has been well documented and quite violent. Because, as some would say, Bud Light's original audience is the world of country music. And many of them took notice and quite a bit of issue with the transgender spokesperson. There was some confusion at first. Some believed the custom can would be showing up at their own grocery store. But even after this was clarified, some country superstars and countless fans had some very strong feelings about what they saw as a sharp turn from their once beloved brand. So let's see who and what was said. Kid Rock. Kid Rock has never been a stranger to controversy. In fact, he welcomes it. 'Cause face it, Detroit boys will say what they want. For decades, this legendary rootsy rock rapper has made headlines for his outspoken opinions on anything from politics to society and pretty much anything that's on his mind. In one of his most famous blow-ups, he drunkenly ranted about Oprah and Joy Behar. But he may have topped himself with this latest public statement. On April 3rd, Kid posted this video. While he didn't exactly prepare a speech, Kid probably said more than words could express. With just a short video, he quickly set the tone for this debate, and he destroyed a lot of Bud Light and ammo in the process.
And concise as possible. Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch. Have a terrific day.
But not everybody agreed with this ballistic outburst. Jason Isbell, a one-time member of the group Drive-By Truckers who is now a very successful solo performer, he took to Twitter to allege that Kid was being hypocritical because his personal beer of choice, Coors Light, has also made public statements in favor of LGBT values. It's not clear what Kid's reaction to Jason's comments were, but I doubt it was all roses and sunshine. Once Kid Rock set the standard for the debate, the floodgates were opened, and it seemed like every musician in the country genre had something to say about the Bud Light partnership. Back in 2015, Kid Rock went hunting for mountain lions and was photographed proudly displaying one of his kills. Many people thought the boasting was in poor taste, but he did earn praise from another Motor City legend. No, not Marshall Mathers, but Ted Nugent, who shared the image of Rock holding the dead animal and proudly praised the kid and the kill. Well, these two Detroit buddies once again found a common ground to stand on. Ted Nugent. Much like Kid Rock, Ted Nugent has long been an outspoken proponent of conservative views, and has also gone out of his way to court controversy. So when he heard about the Bud Light situation, there was no way he wasn't getting in the ring. This elder statesman of rural America may not have fired a rifle in his remarks, but his words were no less piercing. In the video, Ted went beyond just speaking out against Bud Light. He also came at the country music community in general for tolerating the creep of progressive values into once traditional brands, imploring them to speak out. Maybe his call to action worked because more and more musicians began to speak out, and it seemed like a bounty had been put on Bud Light's head, and many more people wanted a piece of the pie. John Rich. The close relationship between beer and country music is made clear when you look at how many country stars have their own bars. Blake Shelton, Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan, and Kid Rock, just to name a few big names, who have successfully channeled their singing into pouring. Well, John Rich, from Big and Rich of course, is certainly no exception. He runs the very popular establishment Redneck Riviera in Nashville, of course, where else? And he takes his alcohol very seriously. So when John heard about the Bud Light controversy, it wasn't just internet drama, it was personal. First, John took to Twitter to announce that he was going to stop serving Bud Light at his establishment, and he asked his audience to decide what beer should replace it. But that wasn't all he had to say, he also took to Fox News. I'm not sure what beer got the vote, but Yingling got a shout out on Twitter, so it's gonna be our guess. Travis Tritt. Travis Tritt was part of the legendary country class of '89, along with heavy hitters Garth Brooks, Alan Jackson, and Clint Black. And we have an entire episode detailing that incredible new wave of country musicians from '89, so check that one out next. But while in some respects, these guys constituted a movement back towards authenticity and relatability in country music, Travis has always been just a bit different. You see, he focused less on projecting the image of a cowboy or a rock star and more about being his own man. So when it came time for Travis to weigh in on the Bud Light fracas, he did not hold back. Travis tweeted the following: "I will be deleting all Anheuser-Busch products from my tour hospitality rider. I know many other artists who are doing the same." While his fellow country stars gave long speeches or dramatic monologues, Travis was all business, talking less with his mouth and more with his wallet. But not every country star liked what Travis had to say. Zach Bryan, a relative newcomer to the scene, spoke out against Travis, saying, quote, "I mean no disrespect towards anyone specifically. I don't even mind Travis. I just think insulting transgender people is completely wrong because we live in a country where we can all just be who we want to be. It's a great day to be alive, I thought." That was a reference to one of Travis's classic songs. But fans who were dismayed at seeing these two superstars feuding need not worry. The two eventually met in person to settle their differences, concluding that they had more in common than they thought. Brantley Gilbert. Brantley Gilbert has always felt strongly about beer, so much so that one of his biggest hits was entitled Bottoms Up. But Brantley has never been as outwardly political as some of his peers, preferring to speak his mind through his gritty country rock tunes instead. But during a recent performance, he had no choice but to wade into this controversy. It's often considered bad form to throw things on stage during a concert, unless of course it's a brawl. But at one of Brantley's recent concerts, a provocateur added insult to injury by throwing a bottle of Bud Light on stage. Brantley quickly noticed the brand of that beer, and he had some choice words to say. He threw the can down, made it explode, and proclaimed, "F that." Surely a man of few words, but they were certainly understood. Bud Light reacts. Sometimes online controversies come one day and then are gone the next, without leaving any real-world consequences. Anheuser-Busch was certainly hoping this was the case after this massive uproar, but this wish was decidedly not granted. The brand quickly lost $4 billion in market value by some metrics, and sales of Bud Light fell 17% in the week after the video went public. But we all know the stock market is a complex machine, and it's unclear if these boycotts and calls for boycotts will have any lasting effects. But it is being reported that an overall 1% drop of revenue is projected. So how did the brand respond? Did they stand their ground and feature more LGBT values? Or did they apologize for their decisions and retract the campaign? Well, neither, it turns out. The CEO issued not exactly an apology, but not an apology, saying, quote, "We have thousands of partners, millions of fans, and a proud history supporting our communities. The military, first responders, sports fans, and hard-working Americans everywhere." Whitworth continued with, quote, "We never intended to be part of a discussion that divides people. We are in the business of bringing people together over a beer." This statement was followed up with new ads that featured patriotic imagery, saying that the beer was rooted in the heart of America. Right now, it's unclear where the future lies for Bud Light. They certainly would like to forget all this ever happened and go back to the days when they were the darlings of country music. As of today, Bud Light is still the official beer of the Country Summer Music Festival, where bands like Lynyrd Skynyrd, Eric Church, and the Brothers Osborne are set to perform this June. Only time will tell whether the most American of genres will reconcile with what was once the most American of beers. Alright, enough of me, now we want to hear from you. Who do you think is right in this scenario? Do you agree with Bud Light's progressive and accepting message? Or do you stand with Kid Rock and Ted Nugent? Get in the comments and tell us whose stance you agreed with most. And can you still listen to Kid Rock while enjoying a Bud Light? We look forward to reading your thoughts. If you enjoyed our deep dive, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and come back often so we can keep telling you
what happened.